Hi, my name is Muhammad Khalid. So today I will be leading the interview, and this is my partner.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'll be also asking asking some questions. Yeah.
Can you introduce yourself a little?
Yeah, of course. So, hi, my name is Aslan. Aslan, you can call me Ace if you'd like. I'm currently in my second year of my program at the Institute of Technology of Aix-en-Provence in France. Um, I'm about to turn 20 in 1 week. And the program is about mechanical engineering. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
First of all, I'll be asking you the first question for today. So, Ace, how do you address misunderstanding that arise in cultural differences in communication styles among students from different regions of France or international students in France?
So between people from France and students from France and international students, um, there are not many different problems in regards to communication skills. I mean, uh, for example, Malaysian students are have made a lot of progress in the French language over the course of 3 years, I think. So they get they can really express themselves well in the language. Um, as for the cultural differences, I mean, we don't really see any in class, for example. Maybe there are some there are some misunderstandings, especially in the pronunciation, in regards to pronunciation. So we would, for example, have to repeat to our colleagues, to our fellow students, some words, or explain to them the meaning of the words in English, which is the common international language. Other than that, I'd say they manage pretty well. They they can solve problems on their own pretty easily.
Yeah, me myself, I could also relate to what you saying just now because me myself, uh, I use English for my second language, obviously. But also I wouldn't say I'm fluent in Korean, but I could speak. But yeah, sometimes like when I want to say to something to my friend, and like there are some terms in some language that is not in the Malaysian dictionary. So yeah, I could totally understand that. So Khalid?
Okay, so for the next question, how do you help students who have different levels of French understand and keep up with the lesson?
For example, if an international student, a student from a foreign country, which who has difficulties in speaking French or understanding the lesson, uh, for this case, for this example, they will normally they should ask for help to a to a French student. Um, Otherwise, like I said before, they uh, they find solutions on their own, and you know, you've got internet. Everyone has internet, so they can easily find solutions to their problems. But yeah, I'd say mostly what they do is they go to a French student and or to a teacher, of course, and they'll ask questions on the lesson. In my program, we don't really. It isn't really language based. It's more scientific based, science based. Sorry. So we employ math and not that much English or French, and so math is a language everyone can understand, to a certain extent. So the international students in this program in particular don't really have any difficulties, I'd say. So yeah, but what we do as French students, and we try to explain to the best of our capabilities certain aspects of the lesson, terms that can pose problems. Yeah, that's about it. We'll go over exercises together.
For my next question is, what are some common speaking or communication problems that you face? Where it doesn't matter when you're in class or like anywhere with both French and foreign students.
Well, will mostly be like problems relating or linked to I'd say pronunciation or articulation. Sometimes, like if I take the example of Malaysian students, they'll be kind of reserved in the way they speak and so they won't express themselves as clearly as they would in their language because they lack the confidence. They're not sure about what they're saying is, and if what they're saying is true, is correct. Sorry. So yeah, I'd say the best thing to do is to ask them to repeat themselves and take their time. They're not in a rush. They're here to learn, So yeah, and if we have if it's really difficult to communicate, sorry, we'll try to either speak in English or try to do some hand gestures to indicate the things to accomplish.
So as for the next question, have you noticed any issues with how students use body language, like gestures or facial expression, that affect their learning or participation?
So, as a student, we don't really pay attention to the body language of other students. Well, body language can indicate many things in terms of hand gestures, like mannerisms and everything. So if a student in particular is quite withdrawn, it seems like he's kind of shy and doesn't want to participate, we'll try to include him. As for you talked about eye contact, right?
Yes.
Okay. So eye contact, I mean, we don't really eye contact is I'd say hand gestures and all of that, mannerisms, eye contact. It's pretty is pretty universal, I'd say. So if there's a problem, if it's visible on the student's face or in how they act, we'll know straight away normally. So we'll try to address that and try to help them. But no, yeah, it's different for each student, I'd say.
You already explained it like so well. So yeah, like you said, like body gesture is like a big thing, especially for us, for the foreigners to interact with other foreigners, because obviously we're not that confident to talk. Just like me myself, I am fluent in English, but I'm not that confident to talk to other people, to be exact. So like how do you deal with differences in like how students use like eye contact, body gestures, or like personal space, especially like these differences for their body languages come from their like cultural background? Like can you
So I'm not really well I'm not really knowledgeable about other cultures' ways of acting or like using body language. Let's say it's pretty much similar to like our European mannerisms. So I don't think really it's influenced by culture per se. Say it's more based on the individual, although maybe some ways of greeting each other might be different in certain cultures. So students that come from a different culture will have to adapt to the French one, the French way of greeting each other. But it's otherwise it's not really essential. It's not really important. Yeah, it's a question of adapting. Yeah, that's it.
So like you said, there's no really difference, right? But sometimes there might be some slight difference. And what do you do to make sure your nonverbal communication, like gestures or facial expression, is clear for both French and foreign students?
So our facial expressions, right?
Yes.
Is clear to French students or like to foreign students?
Or both.
Okay. So we'll try to in that case we'll try to be as clear as possible in our way of expressing ourselves. We'll indicate what we're trying to we'll indicate what we're trying to say in other ways. But I mean, can you like be more specific with the question? Because I don't think I really got what I was supposed to.
Like sometimes like French do like that thing, and some people might not understand that.
Like this?
They're not, yeah.
Yeah, because like most of the time, like from my own experience, like this gesture is
Oh,
from like those
that-
French
that's
chefs.
more.
They were like Mamma Mia,
Yeah, that's more
something like
Italian.
that. Yeah,
Yeah, that's more
yeah, that's more
Italian than
Italian.
French.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but like sometimes we kind of like yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I think hand gestures are pretty universal. Like I said, you'll understand right away what people are trying to say. If, for example, depending on their current emotions, uh, uh, it's quite easy to understand what they're trying to express. Um, yeah, if well, also depends on it will show their behavior will be a clear indicator of how they feel. Uh, like for example, their facial expressions will be a clue um, to what they might feel. And as for those hand gestures, uh, we would try to, as French students or European students, we would try to explain what they mean. But yeah, most of the time there aren't any difficulties in understanding each other um, in like physical communication, like hand gestures and stuff. It's mostly in verbal communication that problems might arise.
For my next question, um, related, it's gonna be like related to the previous question as well about the body language issues and stuff.
Mm.
So like, how do you spot and like solve the communication conflicts between you and this for students? Doesn't matter with foreigner students or like French students. So like, how do you spot and solve it?
So conflicts, as in like disputes, or
Yeah, something like that.
maybe just problems, you know, communication problems, misunderstandings.
Uh, yeah, I think like it's like a like like when we were trying to we wanted to ask you something,
Mm,
but like we're not that confident to ask.
yeah.
Yes, something similar to that kind of problem or like yeah.
All right. Well, I'd reassure the students that they can ask anything they want to ask. I mean, we're here for this Malaysians for or because we mostly welcome foreign students from French-speaking countries like Senegal and like other French-speaking countries. So Malaysians are pretty unique in that sense, in that way. So yeah, French students would need to be more involved, sorry, in helping Malaysian students, for example. Yeah, and so our job as French students and fellow students of the Malaysians is feel to make them feel comfortable, and so they're they can ask anything, and
Even with the body language.
even with the body language, with hand gestures, they can like point to something and will will react accordingly and try to explain the thing they're pointing at, and so yeah. Malaysians have a good level in English too, so we can at either point, like at certain points, we can fall back on the English and start from there. Yeah,
Yeah, we can like mix and match, mix
yeah,
both of the language together. We don't know
yeah,
what to talk. Yeah.
yeah. Or as a last resort, you can always use I mean, like stuff like Google Translate, but that's kind of like that's
But it's
not
Google
cheap.
Translate is not that accurate sometimes.
Yeah,
And that's
that's
also the
right.
problem.
Yeah,
So much for answering the question.
no
Khallid?
problem.
Okay, as for the next question, how do you give feedback to French and foreign student in a way that avoid conflict or misunderstanding? Like, as we all know, there's some phrases in your culture that is not offensive, but
Mm.
when you say it to the other person with a different culture, it's offensive. So how do you avoid that?
Yeah, so we'll try to, if some, for example, foreign students does something that is kind of I wouldn't say unacceptable, but kind of not well seen in our culture. We'll try to explain to them why, and why that thing is not is negative and not well received in France. Um, so so yeah, we'll try to explain to them in details that they can't do certain things. Um, Although I would say it doesn't really happen that often. Um, I actually haven't. I have never seen that, like like something that a foreign student has done that has upset someone because because of a culture difference, uh, cultural difference. Yeah. So so yeah, we go over the things that are acceptable and um, and things that are, let's say, yeah, not well viewed in the country. Um, yeah, that's about it.
All right, this will be my last question for you. So, what strategies do you use to help solve communication besides, you know, like using Google Translate, beside all the things that you say just before this? Like, how do you use to help? I mean, sorry, what strategies do you use to help to solve those communication problems between French and also foreign students?
Yeah, so I think a large part of it comes from exercising in the language or trying to, yeah, training and actually joining conversations, discussions, for example, in French. And so being included in those discussions. And so yeah, as French students, as local students, we should always include and try to invite foreign students into our groups, because the thing is that most of the time, which is I'd say it's a natural phenomenon. It's part of human nature and behavior. Um, People have similarities and are people that are, yeah, are quite similar will tend to coalesce into groups, and so there won't be as many connections between different groups of different cultures and different backgrounds. So
Yeah, especially
there's
for
some
those like who have
mm,
like like when those that have like high, I say like they're super introvert. They're like they wanted to talk to you guys, but
yeah
like
uh, yeah
they're shy and like they don't have the confidence and like yeah.
exactly. So yeah, we'll try to be as welcoming as possible. Uh, and yeah, I was about to say that the worst thing that yeah, a foreign student can do is to isolate themselves and be ostracized. But like yeah, um, but I know that it's difficult. It can be very difficult, and uh, to be talkative and verbose can demand a lot of effort from the students. So it's our job to include everybody. Um, yeah. So we should what we should do is do more. I don't know. Talk more together and do activities together. For example, um, like go on trips. I don't know. Um, yeah. So but I know that it's a problem for a lot of people. Um, so yeah, I think that's about it.
Okay, before we end our session, this will be the last question. What
Mm.
kinds of conflicts or misunderstandings often happen between French and foreign students in the classroom?
What kind of conflicts and misunderstandings? Yeah. So the most usual and what happens the most often is a lack of mutual comprehension between the two students, between a French student and a foreign student. It can be most of the time. Say it's because the foreign student doesn't really express themselves as well as a French student. So sometimes it's kind of hard to understand the students and where they're trying to get at. Um, and so yeah, it's most of the time it's linked to pronunciation problems, uh, and yeah, also I'd say articulating words and being as clear as possible. So yeah, those are the main problems, I'd say. Also, foreign students will also have problems in regards to understanding certain words when they read when they have to read uh, certain sentences, and so the best thing to do is to explain to them straight away and what the word means, what the sentence means, and And also, what would be a good thing to do is to make them repeat the words so they can get a hang of how to pronounce it. Because it's sometimes it's easy to forget stuff over the course of time. So yeah, apart from that, from communication problems, there aren't any clear problems, visible, tangible problems, because the world is interconnected. So pretty much they'll understand concepts because they will have seen it before. So it's language based most of the time.
So that's all for the interview. And
Ace, me and Khalid we want to thank you so much for
No problem.
agreeing to do this interview. We really, really appreciate it so much. As for me, like, do you have anything to say, especially to Malaysian students who maybe they dream to study it in French or like any other places? Or like, do you have any messages for anyone who's gonna watch this video?
Yeah, I'd say don't hesitate to learn new languages and to go abroad. It can be a really nice experience, a memorable experience that will last for that will be that will, yeah, that will have lasting memories. So yeah, you shouldn't hesitate if it's your dream to go abroad and discover new things, new cultures. Jump right in, I'd say. Yeah.
That is so nice. So yeah, and I guess that is it for our interview today. Again, I want to say, me and Khalid want to say, we're really, really thankful for you agreeing to do this interview with us, and I guess that's all.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, A.